Welcome to Pit Stop with Don and James. I'm James.
Don, how's it going,
Don,
James?
happy bye week. We are in the middle. We just had, I can't even remember the last race we had. Gosh darn
Canada,
it.
come on, man.
Canada, we had Canada, and we are in the middle. We have Monaco coming up next week. So in the middle, not too bad. Canada was such a good race. I still cannot get over it.
It was exciting. Lots of stuff going on there, and that threat of rain kind of added a little extra drama to the race. So yeah, I liked Canada this year. Maybe my favorite race so far.
Yeah, and there was also the Indy 500 last week as well. What a great race. People are still talking about it. What a crazy way to end.
Yeah, last lap lead change,
last
right?
Lap.
So
yeah, last lap lead change at the start finish line. So not bad. And now we have this week bye week for Formula One, but IndyCar and IMSA are at Detroit. If you haven't watched the Detroit IMSA race, it's crazy, man. It's like those guys have never driven on a track in their lives. There was so many crashes going on. Unreal.
yeah, I haven't watched it. Detroit is that one that's got a lot of 90-degree turns, right? Kind of a rectangular
very
shape.
narrow, a lot of 90-degree turns, and they have what's unique about it is they have the pit lane split, so half the cars are on one side, half the cars are on the other side.
Oh, really? Okay, on the pit lane. All right.
Yeah, have you not seen that?
I haven't paid attention, I guess. Yeah.
Dude, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the most unique thing about it. It's the only way they can fit all the cars there.
Detroit, kind of
I think it's still tricky.
The home of American motor manufacturing, so automotive manufacturing, or it was at one point, I guess.
Yeah, and also the start-finish line are separated. So the start line is down like the major front straight, and then the finish line is on the other side of the track next to the pit lane. So the pit lane's not even at the start-finish line. Like, it's really weird how the track is set up.
Now you got me curious, and I think I need to go back and pay better attention and maybe watch that IMSA race.
It is like those guys have never driven before. It was a disaster for those guys.
Everybody crashing. Jeez.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, the track is narrow and there's a lot of tight turns. But these guys are supposed to be professionals. There shouldn't be that many crashes into each other.
Yeah, maybe they're partying too hard the day before.
Maybe. Oh, man. So maybe going back to Canada, you said you found out why Russell's car was stopped on the track.
Well, we got something from Mercedes. There was a statement, and it wasn't a full explanation, I don't think, but it definitely had to do with the battery, and the battery failed. There was heat damage that then caused a shutdown of his engine. So again, these electrical bugaboos are out there taking down cars. So I don't know what you think, but I was kind of hoping that maybe by around 7 or 8, they would have a lot of the reliability issues figured out. It just didn't seem to be the case. In Canada, we had 6 retirements from the race, and I think...
Was it really that many? My goodness.
Yeah, 6.
Jeez.
And so, yeah, I feel like there's still a bit of learning to do to figure out how to make these cars more reliable in the new regulations. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I do think they will eventually figure it out, but that is what got Russell, and that's one of there's been many over the years where people had to retire from the lead of the race, and you really don't want to see that. I mean, it really sucks when you see cars in the points not being able to complete the job because the car failed. And there's actually an article on the F1 website about other retirements from the lead too. That was another good one to kind of to read read about. But yeah, you feel for George. He was clearly pushing hard at a track that he normally does really well at, to gain a little bit of ground on Kimmy, who's just running away with it right now. 4 in a row wins, um, and so yeah, I felt bad for George, but it sounds like, it was electrical components, battery gave out on him.
And he also received a 5,000 euro fine for throwing his headrest out onto a live track as well.
Yeah.
Not. Although, what's 5,000 pounds to a guy that's making a few million a year, right?
True.
I think he's just gonna be just fine.
Oh yeah, he will. He's not going to feel that too bad. Although I heard he apologized or something like that, and they either reduced it or eliminated the fine. But yeah, I mean, come on, man. Give the guy a break. He just threw the headrest in the front of the car. He didn't throw it out into where anybody was going to go. And he was clearly ticked off.
Yeah, and I guess you're right. Like Lindblad, he had a clutch failure, right? I think that's what was determined why he was unable to start the race. And then, yeah, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, they all DNF'd.
Yeah. These hybrids are kind of tricky. In the new rigs, there was, new components, I think, that are just taking cars down at random and weird times. I did hear sort of along those lines. Didn't we hear news about them going to some sort of a V8 engine at some point in the near future?
I think we did hear some rumblings of it, but I'm not sure if it's like fully confirmed, or like even if it is, when.
I wanted to say 2030.
It would have to be a ways out.
Yeah.
2030 for the V8 engines. I think I did hear something like that, which would be awesome. Get back to more just raw engine power, because these electrical failures are just not doing it. These hybrid engines, just whatever the regulations were that they set, they're just killing the sport, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I mean, there's something magical about the sound of an internal combustion engine. They're definitely louder. I feel I have a pretty like, I don't know, a passion or a something for being sustainable and being green, and so it does kind of like, I do like that Formula One has had this goal of reducing emissions and being carbon neutral and things like that. They've taken all these steps to use less electricity. Like, they don't let you use those electric warming blankets for the tires anymore. You just have to tuck it in to a regular old blanket now. They're trying to do stuff, and I respect that. That's something that I care about. So I'm sort of torn about just going back to more of a gas guzzling engine. Although they can make V8s that are super fuel efficient now. I mean, they're not the gas guzzlers of like 10 or 15 years ago. And the other thing is that I'm pretty sure that I read that the FIA president, who was the one talking about it, was talking about there would be some sort of hybrid component to the V8 anyway, but I'm not sure what it would be. And so I guess we'll wait and see, and if it ever materializes, But it's kind of interesting. I expected, when the first time that I went to a race, I expected it to be really loud, because motorsport tends to be loud. And I did not find the Formula One cars. They're not very loud with the turbocharged V6 engine. It's quieter than the sports cars that drive around the track. And I don't know, that I didn't really bother me at all. Like, I still like watching the cars go fast, and they still have a sound, a better sound than, say, the Formula E cars, which kind of sound like a toy. But yeah, so last year, and we talked about this during the podcast last year, Carrera Cup, the Porsche Carrera Cup, was happening as the support race for
Right.
for the Formula One, and those cars are loud and they sound cool going around the track. It's like a thundering sound as they go around. I don't think any of the cars that I've heard are as loud as what I've been told. The NASCAR evidently sounds very rumbly. Do they drive NASCAR at the track by you? Can you hear them?
They do. And I'm like maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles away from the track, and I definitely know when they are out there racing. They are so unbelievably loud. Unbelievably loud.
I believe it. Yeah, So
But it's the same
anyway,
thing like whenever I go to Long Beach and like the Indy cars and IMSA are running around, like those cars are so stinking loud. And I
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Absolutely love it. So
yeah.
if they do go back to the V8s, which will be nice, I'm curious if they will ever return to doing pit stops again. That's what I'm curious about, because if they're reducing the hybrid system, making the engines bigger, they're going to use more fuel just from the stand of it being a bigger engine. I would love to see them to go back to doing pit stops again. Pit
You
stops
mean
for me
the
are always like, part of the race.
sure, sure. But you specifically mean the refueling pit stop.
Refueling, yeah.
Yeah. Which
Because
they
like they
do in
change
Indy cars.
tires, that's fine. But
Right.
come on, man.
Well,
Bring back bring
that
back
adds
the
time, to the pit to have to refuel. It adds
that's
a
fine.
level of skill that the pit crew has to have to get to do the tires and or the refueling. It's a little element of danger too. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
quickly trying to stick a refueling hose on there to a car and making sure you don't spill gasoline all over the place.
Yeah. But it makes the strategy more dynamic.
Sure, sure,
And
sure.
that's what I like.
Yeah.
Speaking of Formula E, you brought it up in Monaco. Formula E race there 2 weeks ago, and for the second year in a row, like I watched it the last year, was such a good race. Watching it again this year, still a really stinking good race. Like Formula E at Monaco, I can't recommend it enough. It actually makes it worth watching. It is such a good one.
So, what do you think it is that makes it better for the Formula E? Is it just the smaller size of the car? Just it makes it better for overtakes and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's that, and then also just because they're electric, they accelerate so stinking fast in those Formula E cars, and then they're so tiny. Like I think there was at one point where they went like 3 wide down the track. Like you will never see that in Formula One. You just can't. But these cars, and they're really narrow, but they're still kind of long, and these guys are just going for it. In fact, our old pal Nick DeVries, he won.
Oh,
So
okay.
not bad.
I
So
was just going to
he's
ask you
still
about
doing
that.
good.
I didn't know if he was still racing in Formula E. I haven't kept up with Formula E. I know he kind of made a name for himself in Formula E before he got the chance to try Formula One and then just failed spectacularly. Still kind of feel like he got a raw deal. They didn't let him drive for very long, did they?
He did get a bit of a raw deal. Yeah. But yeah, no, he's still doing really good in Formula E.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna have to do with Formula E to increase its popularity. I kind of started watching Formula E before I really got into Formula One because like I said, I kind of have this. I care about the sustainability, and I liked that they were doing this electric car racing. Just um, so yeah, I was kind of interested in it, but I didn't know enough about it. They didn't have any way to like learn as much. I would have had to read a lot of articles and to learn more about the drivers and the teams and all that kind of stuff. And so I kind of fizzled out as a fan before too long. But and then the other thing is, like I said, the sound of the cars isn't particularly awesome. Really
Yeah,
high
and it
pitched.
does sound like a bunch of flying saucers cruising around. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you go watch Formula E, if you're very familiar with like the world of motorsports racing, there's a lot of names you'll recognize, like
Mm.
Pascal Verlaine. He's a former F1 driver. There's Dan Ticktum, who was an F2. Um, Sebastian Buemi, former F1 driver. Felipe Drugovich, he was F2. So I mean, there's a lot of names that people should recognize that are cruising around. So very
Yeah.
talented drivers.
Drogovic has actually driven in Formula One on a couple of occasions. I think maybe as a reserve driver, he sat in for somebody.
Or testing maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, there's names out there that people will recognize.
Sure. Yeah, they get talented guys, and it's high level racing for sure.
Heck yeah. And then maybe just kind of like a sidestep actually. I don't know if you saw, but former F1 Academy driver Abby Pulling, she won her first GB3 race, the first female to win a GB3 race.
Oh, dang.
So awesome to her. And I think she also won the F1 Academy in 2024. I'm probably not remembering that right. It would have to be 2024 because I can't even remember who did it last year. It's gonna drive me nuts. I totally follow her. Why can't I remember her name when I need it though? Dorian Pan. She won last year.
Oh, right.
So Abby Pulling won 2024. She won pole. She took pole actually, and then she converted it to victory at Spa-Francorchamps. So awesome. Nice. First female making a name for herself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about like what is Jamie Chadwick up to these days? I mean, besides presenting at the podium for Formula One, she did that. Did she do that for Canada, or was it the week or the race before? She was presenting.
I know she does like the pundit work for cruising around the paddock, but she also races in the European Le Mans series as well. So I wonder if she's going to be at Le Mans in a couple weeks' time.
When you're over there, if you get a chance to meet anybody and you see Jamie Chadwick, snap a pic. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I want to see. Dorian Pan's going to be there. I'd like to get a picture with her, and then maybe, if Jamie Chadwick's cruising around, I'd like to get a picture with her as well. So I don't know. I don't know how close I'll be able to get to them, or I don't know what the setup is like if you're able just to like cruise around the pits or whatever. But I mean, if they're walking around and I see them, for sure, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna make a beeline.
Yeah,
get a picture. I'm gonna have to get a Mercedes hat if I'm gonna approach Dorian, I think.
Yeah, pick it up, but buy it before you go. I know. It'll be cheaper.
Well, I gotta take my car in this week, so maybe I'll pick one up at the dealership.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. They should give you that for free, man. The amount you're paying for the car and the repairs.
Yeah, so Jamie Chadwick raced. It looks like she's still doing. She's driving an LMP2 car, so she drove LMP2 last year for IDEX Sport, and it looks she's still with IDEX Sport for this year. She's the number 18, currently ranked 4th in the European Le Mans series. So I would imagine that she would be at Le Mans.
Well, that'd be pretty sick, man.
I'm gonna have to look up and see if she's cruising around. The thing about Le Mans is there's so many drivers, right? It's like 180 drivers that are cruising around. So I think the chances of running into one or two is pretty high.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, awesome. Anything else you want to touch on, or you want to move on to our bold predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Monaco.
Let's boldly predict.
Oh man. Well, I think mine are way more bold than yours this year because I am losing. I've only gotten 3 right this season. So next race, of course, is Monaco. Monaco is maybe the most boring, but also maybe the most interesting on track, right?
It's a
It's a lot
paradox.
of it's a lot of risk with very little reward if it doesn't go well, and more oftentimes than not, it does not go well. I mean, we saw Leclerc a few years ago starting towards the back, making some great moves, and then it all just caught up with him, and he nicked the wall, and that was the end of his day. So I mean, the margins are very very fine at Monaco, and it's so hard to make anything happen. That being said, I'm gonna put Kimmy is gonna come P1, so that'll be his fifth straight victory. I'm gonna predict that one. That'd be
I mean,
really good.
it's not really a bold prediction, except for the fact that really to do 5 in a row would be pretty insane. Nobody's
Yeah,
gotten 4 wins in a row for their first 4 wins of their career. He's already shattered that, and so
yeah.
it is bold in that regard. But he is on a tear. That
So, yeah, he is on a tear, and I think it's bold because do you think he's going to get 5 in a row for his first wins ever? I think it's at that teetering point. The universe is kind of sitting in the middle of the fence right now. I would like to point out he came 3 laps down last year, so who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna put him for 6 straight victory. I don't think George Russell does well at Monaco. He came fifth in 2024, and then for 2025, where did he finish up? He finished
he was like 12th or something like that.
11th, 2
11th.
laps down. So
This was
I
not
think
good
he's going
for
to
them
have that
last year.
excuse again. It's going to be another like Miami excuse of like, this track, it's just not really my thing. And if you're saying that as a driver, you're not a world champion. I'm just putting that out there. All the shade.
You gotta be up for any track, right? And he
correct.
He shouldn't have said that about even if it's true, he shouldn't have said it about Miami. It kind of damaged his reputation. Max would never say something.
And then something maybe a little bit more bold. I put Checo is going to be P15 or better. He had a really decent showing in Canada. He's been the fastest of the 2 Cadillacs all season long. I think with the way Monaco goes for some drivers, I think it's not unrealistic for where he could be finishing. And then I'm gonna pick on Franco Colapinto. I think he's gonna DNF. Colapinto isn't exactly the most precise driver, and so I think there's going to be a DNF for him, whether that is of his own hand or if it's going to be because of a mechanical failure or electrical failure. That remains to be seen. But that dude is not going to cross the finish line.
Well, so the Checo one, I like that. I like to see the progress. I think that I think Cadillac has been making some progress kind of quietly at the back of the grid there. So to get P15, he's got to beat both Astons, totally doable. He's got to beat his teammate, very doable. That gets us to P18 if he beats those guys. So then you think he's gonna get past a few more guys. I'm just trying to imagine who that might be back there. I was looking at when I was trying to do my bold predictions for the week. I was looking at like, well, should I try to see if this might be a place where Nico could do good, and he didn't do good there last year. So I didn't. I shied away from Nico. But yeah, I mean the Williams may have trouble. The Haas team has sort of, I think, not continued to progress. It seemed like they were doing okay this year with Behrman at least putting in some good runs. So Haas could end up behind Checo. We'll see. I want to see it. P15. I wish I was looking forward to him finishing even higher than P15, but let's just see if they can get to P15. They got to keep chipping away. So, and then Colapinto. So I hope what you just described does not happen to Colapinto. We're going to be at odds for this one because my bold predictions, Colapinto was going to is going to qualify P6 or better. So I guess I'm only saying qualify. I think he's been driving really well. That's why I kind of kept it to qualifying. So I guess he could still DNF and we could still both be right on that one because as long as he qualifies,
Yeah.
P6 or better. But I do want to see him actually finish the race and do keep a pretty good streak going. He's been ascending right now. So another one that I had, I kind of looked up what the over under is for retirements, how many cars are going to retire from the race. They actually don't usually give an over under for that. They do it the opposite way, like how many cars are going to finish the race. And they do like based on a 20 car grid, they do 16 and a half for Monaco. So they think that there's going to be 3.5 retirements. So I went with the over under for retirements 3.5. I picked the over. I think four cars at least are going to retire from this race. Doing that based off of the mechanical issues we saw in Canada. So yeah, four more retirements, and then my last bold prediction is that I think both Ferraris are gonna finish on the podium, P2 and P3. I think that it could be either one. It could be Lewis P2 and Charles P3, or vice versa. So those are my picks. I think they did fairly well last year at this track. I think they've got a little more to play with in the car this year. Lewis just had his best race of the year in Canada last week, so looking for him to do well. I also would like to see Charles do well. He's won his home race. This is a home race for him. He's won it before. It was part of a great episode we did last year where we talked about home wins. And we need to do a better job of coming up with topics like that. That was a really fun one that we did last year.
That was a
If
good
people want
one.
to go back to our back catalog and revisit that episode about home
for his
wins.
2024 victory, right? That's what it was.
I think you're right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was great. It was great to see him do that well there in front of the home crowd. They loved it too. He's like very famous guy in that little city state of Monte Carlo. So he rides his bike around town and people see him and his dog.
Oh yeah.
Leo Leclerc.
Well, good, man. Those are some pretty good bold predictions. I'm really interested to see if your 4 retirements or more is going to come to fruition. I mean, I think if we just go off all the DNFs just from this year alone, I think there's been an average of maybe 3 or 4 retirements per race for this year.
I haven't looked it up, but
yeah, maybe even more than that, maybe closer to like 5.
Maybe so.
It's got to be more than that.
I think we had a couple of higher rate, like Canada had 6, and that was kind of a lot. And I feel like maybe there was a lot in an earlier race, but there's been a couple of races.
China had 7.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should go tally that up. It'd be good to know. But yeah, I was having a hard time coming up with any bold predictions for this week. I don't know what. Usually, I can kind of look back through the last year's results, and I can look at what the trends have been in this year, and then I kind of like try to just pick out something that I see. And I was having a hard time really finding something. That's why I went with that one about the odds. I got curious, and I was like, I wonder what kind of odds the betting markets place on this kind of stuff. And so I looked it up, and I was like, okay, this one kind of interesting. But yeah, I think Monaco is just one of these paradoxes, like you said earlier. I always look forward to it. I always think there's something magical about it. There's all this history there. It's this tiny place. It's a bunch of rich people that live there. A bunch of celebrities come to the race. It's got one of the better sceneries of the race. The track is super narrow in a lot of spots, and it's got all these different places. Like when they go through the tunnel, it's super cool. They go through that hairpin that they go super slow through. They're going through town. The swimming pool
Yeah.
It's very there's iconic places there. You see as they go through, you see the bay with all the yachts and everything out in the water. So it's definitely cool, and I would love to go there and like check it out. Like it would be cool to go to see and just partake in
Yeah.
the pageantry of that race. But um, it's super expensive to go to. I've looked into it. Like maybe one of the most expensive on the calendar. And
Oh, for sure.
but then we, as we've discussed, at length, the size of the cars, which has just grown over all the years and decades of Formula One, has made it so it's very difficult for the cars to pass on this track. So what we see a lot of times is qualifying can be very exciting because they're not trying to pass each other, and there can be drama, as we saw with Charles Leclerc one year, where I think he set pole, a time that was good enough for pole, and then went out again and crashed, assuring his pole position, but then making it so he couldn't start the race. So
Yep.
yeah, there's stuff like that. There's definitely always some kind of drama to pay attention to.
Yeah. The swimming pool gives us probably one of the most iconic camera views
Yeah.
in the whole of the F1 season, where they're coming around and they make that quick like left right, and then they
Yeah.
hit the hard braking for the right left, and they're like rubbing up against the rail and whatnot. Like, oh man, it's so good. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably the only reason I look forward to the Monaco Grand Prix, is just watching how close they get to that barrier.
It is precision racing for sure. And so if you're
Yeah.
right about Colapinto, he could bend it in a wall if he's not precise. So yeah, and I think
I
that's
say
why
that, but even some of the best drivers have made mistakes there.
yeah,
So
sure. I mean, like I was just saying, Leclerc hit the wall and in qualifying, trying to push to the absolute limit, and so yeah, I guess we'll see. Seems like there's always the chance for high drama there, and that's what they talk about, and that's why people love Monaco. I think there's a good chance too that we'll be back on here after the Monaco race going, well, it was kind of a snooze. But yeah, either way, there will be something to see.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's everything we have, man. Nice, short and sweet. I'll be ready for you, man. I'll be ready to talk about the Monaco Grand Prix sometime next weekend with you. But until then, I'm gonna say adios.
Adios.